Alright guys, so today's predictions video is going to be a little bit different than normal because it is currently 11:40. I gotta edit this one, get it out when the games start, and I also got other stuff to do. So it's going to be real quick. Each segment's going to be under a minute, trying to rapid fire predictions today. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe, like button, hit the bell. And what are your predictions for week, 13 of the NFL down below in the comment section? And here we go. The Chargers and the Falcons. Now, this one is kind of an easy one for me because the Falcons have really not been looking that great, and I really wanted them to look that great, but they really haven't, and it's been really unfortunate for them these past couple of weeks. The Chargers, however, have been going off pretty much. I mean, Justin Herbert has been an absolute beast, despite losing last week to the Ravens, who is one of the best teams in the league. They still, I think, played a great game enough. Justin Herbert still looked great. And against a struggling Falcons team, I think this one is a pretty easy pick for me. I would go to the Chargers on this one, at least until Atlanta starts turning their flaws around what they're having at this point in the season. Probably our best game in the early window, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow throws for like 400 yards, like 5 touchdowns every game, and yet somehow they still end up losing games. It's because their defense does not know how to play football. The Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the best teams in the league, undoubtedly. Even though if they can't score touchdowns, their team is still able to win games, and that is what's really impressive about them. So against a tough defense like the Cincinnati, or like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and against a tough offense like the Cincinnati Bengals, who's going to win this game? Who do I think is going to win this game? I'm going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers because, you know, Cincinnati Bengals keep finding ways to lose games. The Pittsburgh Steelers keep finding ways to win games. That's a match made in heaven. I think Pittsburgh is going to come away with the dub today. Houston and Jacksonville, another easy one for me. Jacksonville, one of the worst teams in the league right now. They are playing Trevor Lawrence, but it doesn't really matter. He's not very good. Their team's not very good. Houston, not as good as they were last year at all. They've been really having some struggles there on the offense, but I do definitely think that they are going to beat Jacksonville, even after a tough loss last week against Tennessee. I do still think they're going to beat Jacksonville. I think this is going to be a rebound game. I think they're going to win by a pretty big margin, even if Trevor Lawrence plays, because I just don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars are very good. Arizona and Minnesota. Minnesota is still one of the best teams in the league, but they're not looking as strong and as a powerhouse as they were a couple weeks ago. They have been having the little struggles, and even though they keep finding ways to win, they're still struggling just a little bit. Arizona Cardinals struggled last week against the Seattle Seahawks, but I think they're one of the best teams, not even one of, they are the best team in that division, hands down, I think. And I think they are going to get a playoff spot. And this should be a really tough game against Minnesota. I think it's going to be close. But it all comes down to who's going to have a better fourth quarter, I think. And I'm going to think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to have a fourth quarter. Yes, that is correct. This is going to be one of my big upsets of the week. I'm going to predict the Arizona Cardinals will beat the Minnesota Vikings. The Colts and the Patriots, another pretty easy one here. The Patriots, not very good. Drake May has been impressing me, but he can't really do that much with this crappy O-line, and the weapons he has don't exist. The defense sucks. The Colts, not a great team, but they are still pretty decent enough. I do still think they'll probably squeeze in a playoff spot there. Anthony Richardson, I'm disappointed with his performance this year, but I don't think he's horrible. But I think it's pretty easy. They're going to beat the New England Patriots. I just don't think the Patriots are a good team whatsoever, and the Colts have way more shining moments than the Patriots do. I'm going to predict the Indianapolis Colts and Anthony Richardson to beat the Patriots. The Seattle Seahawks and the New York Jets. Now, I say this week in and week out, the New York Jets don't have team chemistry. They suck. They even lost their bye week last week. Sorry, that's an old meme, but they're horrible. They're a horrible football team. The Seattle Seahawks, not great, but they're fine. They're in contention with the Arizona Cardinals. They beat the Arizona Cardinals. Why do you think the Arizona Cardinals are easily going to win that division? It is a little bit, they're a little bit rough team. Don't think this one is going to be the most thrilling game. Pretty easily picking Seattle, though, because the New York Jets kind of suck. They're horrible. They have great players, but their team chemistry is just in the dumps, and Seattle has way more shining moments than the Jets do. I definitely think they're going to beat the Jets pretty badly, probably. Tennessee and Washington. Now, Tennessee is that one team that everybody was saying was so good, going to win the Super Bowl. I thought they were doing great as well, and then they kind of just started sucking the last couple weeks. Tennessee got a surprise win against Houston last week. It was a very, very surprising game. Surprising win for them. Do I think they're going to carry it over today? No, I definitely do think that the Washington Commanders going to get the dub here. I do think it's going to be a snapback game for them. I have not predicted the Tennessee Titans to win a single game this year, and it is going to stay that way. I'm going to say the Washington Commanders going to pretty much beat them and really get their place back, really prove to themselves, hey, we had a rough couple last weeks, but we're still a good football team. We're still a great football team, and come out here and wipe the floor with the Tennessee Titans. The Buccaneers and the Panthers. Now, the Panthers, very surprising team. They've actually been playing some really good football, I think, recently. Almost beating the Chiefs last week, which apparently is not hard to do because the Raiders almost beat the Chiefs as well. Dang. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got a big win last week. Baker has still been playing great even in that loss streak. They finally got Mike Evans back, one of their weapons. They're not going to get Chris Godwin back for the rest of the year as he's out, but they still got Mike Evans, still pretty easily picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the Carolina Panthers. But the way the Panthers have been playing, I do think they can kind of make this a close game against Tampa Bay, even though I do think Tampa Bay is going to win this one. The Rams and the Saints. The Saints were fantastic the first couple of weeks. Absolutely blew every team out of the water. And then they kind of sucked and became the most boring team in football to watch. Hate watching them. The Rams, exciting team to watch. They got Cooper Kupp. They got Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. Oh, and you can't forget their great quarterback, Matthew Stafford. Even though they are not having the best season so far, I do still think they'll squeeze in there and squeeze in a playoff spot a little bit, probably get second in their division right before the Seattle Seahawks and after the Arizona Cardinals. Still definitely thinking they're going to win this game. Need a huge game from Cooper Kupp today. Need a huge game from Puka for numerous fantasy football leagues. I'm trying to clinch the playoffs this week. But yeah, I'm definitely going the Rams to win this one. I definitely think it'll be a blowout. Still going the Rams. Our game of the week, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be a fantastic game. Baltimore has lost games that they should not have lost, but the games that they've won, they've looked like the strongest team in football. The Philadelphia Eagles are on a huge win streak right now. What is it, like 7 games, I think? They are a phenomenal football team. I'm sorry for doubting them at the beginning of the season, but they are a great team. I am definitely picking them to beat the Baltimore Ravens, and apparently this is an upset, so apparently this is another upset alert I am picking, but they've just really been a stronger football team, and while Baltimore has been a very strong football team, they've lost games that they definitely should have won, and that always puts a little bit of doubt in my head that they're going to win these games, these big games. And so I definitely think Philadelphia, who has been playing like a stronger football team with Saquon Barkley, are going to win this one. 49ers and the Buffalo Bills in a snow game in Buffalo. Excited for this one, picking the Buffalo Bills to win this one. Number 1, because they're more accustomed to snow games than San Francisco is. Number 2, because they're just an all-around better team. They're a big competitor in the AFC. The AFC playoffs this year should be very exciting with the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Should be a very exciting playoff this year. But I mean, I definitely think that the Bills are going to win this one, clinch a playoff spot today, because I do think that they're all around the better team than the 49ers, who are coming after that Super Bowl loss last year and just looking like a little bit of a rough team. Not the powerhouse that they should be. A little bit disappointing for them. I think they're going to lose the division this year, to be quite honest. I am going with the Bills to win this one. And then our final game, Monday Night Football, we got the Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix been looking like Rookie of the Year. Definitely think if he keeps it up, he's going to win it. And then the Cleveland Browns got a win last week on Thursday Night Football. Not so sure what they're going to do this week. They are a very unpredictable team, which is why, easy prediction, I'm going with the Denver Broncos to win this one. I mean, they're just a great team. They're playing some fantastic football as of recently. I need a huge game from Bo Nix, need a huge game from Courtland Sutton, and I definitely do think that they are going to get the win over the Cleveland Browns and walk away as victors with this one. Thank you guys for tuning into this predictions video. Really appreciate you guys clicking in on this. Chiefs won this week, so obviously I'm a little bit happy. But with that said, subscribe, join the Energy Army. Peace out.